Welcome to
She Talks, He Nods.
We're your host. I'm Maegan.
I'm Kris.
And our podcast is about our life, our marriage, our kids, and whatever we want to talk about because, well, it's our podcast.
Yep. We made a podcast. We can talk about whatever we want.
No, and so, when we first did this, I was so just like, we've got to plan it. We've got to, bullet point things out, which we do. We do. Today, we're just winging it. We said, let's talk about this. And now we're here to talk about it. So we'll see how it goes. So when we're like, yeah, let's do a podcast, it was kind of more almost like my online journal, kind of, a big reason was so when our kids are older, they can look back and hear how we were in this stage of life. And I think that's just really cool.
So that way, if we go from being the cool parents that we are now to totally lame parents later on in life, the kids have proof that we weren't always so lame.
Right. Yeah. But in general, I find myself wanting to know more about the different stages of my parents. So maybe our kids won't care less or never think about that. But if they do, they have this online journal they can go look back because once you put something on the internet,
it's there to stay.
Yeah. Yeah. But so since we've started this, the podcasting part has been fun and I've loved it. The social media part, I don't love because I didn't like social media beforehand. So that has been a little tough for me to just have to interact with people and have to check it because I don't want to just be checking it and responding and doing that. I just want to let it be there. Mm-hmm. I just did my 3-month post on Facebook for all the extended family and friends yesterday, where it was photo dump of here's what we've done this summer. So you guys know we're still alive other than our podcast. Because I've been using my platform for the podcast too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on. Were you saying more about how you dislike the social media side of things?
Well, no, I dislike it.
Oh yeah.
And you don't like it either.
Well, I'm indifferent to all of it. I mean, if you're commenting on a random person's post that you disagree with and you're commenting something hateful, not like a constructive criticism or looking to have an actual conversation, but just something that's just, there's nothing to respond to it because it's just a mean thing to say. That means nothing to me, but I know it hurts a little bit for you, but I mean, a lot of them have made me laugh.
Some have made me laugh.
Unintentionally. They weren't trying to make us laugh, but some of them are just funny. My favorite comment so far was,
bro is gay.
Bro is gay. That was his whole comment. That
made me laugh.
That is a funny comment to me. That made me laugh real hard.
And that was on the best friend clip, right?
Yeah, I think so. Make your spouse your best friend.
Yeah, that was our most popular one so far.
Yeah, I think bro is gay.
It's funny.
That's real funny. That's a funny 3-word comment that it's really not that hateful, even if he was genuinely.
But it's the ones where it's these people are stupid. Who allows them to post online? Those are the ones that's just why are, if you truly feel that way, shouldn't you just instantly go on by? Because if you care that little, shouldn't you just oh, I don't give 2 craps about that. I'm going to keep going. Why are you taking the time of your day to go to say something mean for no reason? Mm-hmm. I just do not understand that is our world. I do not get that. I will never understand that.
Misery loves company. A lot of people out there that like to see stuff like that. And they're like, ooh, I have an opinion as well. Let me comment it on this person's original hateful comment.
Well, see, I think having an opinion's fine. Like you said, constructive criticism or just being hey guys, have you looked at it in this way?
Right.
That is totally cool. I love challenging conversations. Yeah. I love people who have differing opinions that can respectfully get their point across because I'll respectfully get mine across too. That's fine. It's just the ones that come for absolutely no reason. Those I don't get.
It's we got ripped apart pretty hard for our short about how we thought that kids' menus at restaurants suck. And the shorts are just
it's meant to leave you hanging.
The shorts are hard because, if you listen to the full podcast contextually, we aren't saying anything in concrete. We're not experts on restaurant menus and we aren't saying do better restaurants. We're more so being why is it that there is a kids menu? But our short just like says
made
that
it made it seem
like,
and we can see that.
Yeah, definitely. It made it seem like we were just like had such a definitive stance.
Like we hated kids menus or something.
And people just tore us up.
We're like, no, like that's not what we're saying.
And then people will start commenting on like the minutia of it all to be like, oh yeah, they're really going to cut up half a salmon fillet, or they're going to take half a steak and cut it in half for your kid to sell it at half the price. I'm like, okay, I get it. It doesn't apply to everything.
Yeah, we were just saying salmon because we literally just ate salmon.
Right.
So it's like,
it was just
just a conversation.
And obviously a bad example. Maybe we wouldn't have gotten, but that's the thing. You don't know when you're going to just get just absolutely destroyed online. So now we're trying to make our shorts a little less.
Think about it.
We're trying to make them less definitive. Like we're not trying to have like a hard stance on something.
But that's hard because that is the point. That is what gets attention. Like that is what brings people in and you know what I mean? Because like our Marry Your Best Friend was definitive. And like we had so many people come and be like, yes, and then there was people who were like, no.
Yeah, it was probably 50-50. Yeah,
it was,
But which that's good. I'll take 50-50. Our restaurant one was 95-5.
Yeah, it was no good.
95%
and
people were like, you guys are so stupid.
Yeah. We really weren't like saying like it needs to change. Like some people said some stuff like, well, kids their palates are not as developed and they're pickier eaters. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. And some were like, well, just order off the adult menu. I'm like, we do. Thanks. And it's just like.
Or someone comments like, my kid only likes cheeseburgers. I'm like, good for your kid.
But I do see like when I were looking back at that clip and we're learning whatever, but looking back at that clip, like maybe you came off a little sassy with, you were a little sassy with it.
Sure, without any context.
That's what I'm saying.
Like if you go back and like in all of our podcasts that we've done, I don't put any forethought into this.
Yeah,
I'm just off the rip. And usually when I say something off the rip and then we start talking about it more, I completely backtrack and completely change what I was originally saying.
Yeah.
So that's what's hard about the shorts is you don't get to see me work it through my brain slowly and then I'm like, well, hold on. Yeah. I was not changed my mind. What I said earlier was not quite right, but the shorts don't reflect that.
And that's what I said.
But the shorts are important to bring in traction.
Yeah, and that's what I said too. In the one guy commented like 6 times on like 6 other people's comments, just like building off of it. And I was like, at this point, my guy, if you're this invested, just go listen to the podcast and maybe you can get your answers there. Mm-hmm. Like you're that invested that you're going to comment 6 separate times with like negativity. Like, well, why don't you just do this? Well, have you ever thought of this? I'm like, yep. Actually, I said that in the episode. Yeah. So it's like, that's the hard part. And it's hard for me because like, obviously I know that, but it is hard to have like people see that and like have that thought of you. Like that's hard. Like, cause in us to care what people think, even though like, of course you can say, I don't care what people think, but you still do. No matter what, you still do. That's why
I care what the people that I love think about.
Of course, yes.
But the people that
strangers, the mean people.
I don't care what a stranger thinks about me because I know I'm not a garbage person. I'm nice to everybody. But if something I do, not everybody's going to like what I do, but what I'm doing, I'm always doing from like the goodness of my heart, Yeah. So that's why I don't care what other people think about me. If you don't like me, that's fine.
Yeah.
Then we aren't compatible. That's okay. And I'm not sorry that I offended you in any way because I have no intention to offend anybody. But if you just don't like what I'm about, that's not my problem.
Yeah,
that's your problem. Yeah. And that's fine. But so it doesn't bother me. The comments are funny.
Some are just mean.
Oh, people. Yeah, it's fine.
But that's what like I said, come with the challenging conversation, come with like a differing opinion. Like that's cool. Cause people who have like an open mind and just a good intention, I think it makes such a difference than people who are just being mean to be mean. Like that's how you spend your day. Like I feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
That sucks. Like I wish you a better life.
It makes me laugh.
I just hate social media.
I know. I hate to see people be that negative, but if social media is just one outlet for them, if they didn't have social media, they'd be finding some other way to spread their misery. That's what miserable people do.
I just want to be like,
what did it used to be like pre-social media? How did miserable people find other miserable people pre-social media?
Video games. Or is that social media? Like, like chatting in the video games?
Well, even earlier than that.
I don't know. I never did that, but I'm assuming like trash talk, right?
Oh boy, 2007 Halo 3.
Wasn't there
I
a
should
bunch
be
of
locked
trash
up
talk?
for life for some of the things I said. Trash talking on Halo 3.
I've just never been a trash talker. If I'm going to trash talk, it's going to be to you in confidence because, yeah, we're human, guys. Like, I'm not saying I never say anything or be judgy or have a negative opinion about things because I'm a human, but
and a judgy one.
I can be very judgy. I can. I have no, I am. It's okay. But I don't just go sharing that with everybody, for the world to see, like, because I'm not a miserable person, but sometimes you do just need to vent. Something happens or you see something, you're like, what the heck? And you're my venting person. And I do that in confidence and in private because you know me, of course, but I'm not just going to go to a random stranger and be like, let me tell you all this bad things I feel about and think about today, because that's just not it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, should we get in a little bit more?
Sure.
We had a kind of a rough little scare yesterday.
Yeah. Margot, our oldest, all of a sudden was having stomach pains, and then they were getting worse. And she said, I want to go to the doctor. And it turns out she had appendicitis and had to have an emergency appendectomy.
Yeah. So her mom got her in there in time, though. And the timing, I feel very fortunate. There was no rupture. So
it was about to rupture, though.
Yeah, it was close. But yeah, she took her to the walk-in and then to the ER. And then once Kris got off work, we went over there too. And she came home with us last night and rested. And she has a new belly button.
Mm-hmm. She had an outie. Now she's got an innie.
Yeah. She thought that was pretty funny. The first thing when she walked in last night with Kris, she just pulls up her shoe. She goes, I have an innie like you guys now. So she's in good spirits and she's doing well. Great. Yeah. The doctors did their job and her mom got her there on time, with plenty of time, and made the right call. And so we're very thankful that went how it did.
Yep.
So, and she's upstairs resting right now.
Yep.
Yeah. So should we get into our topic today?
Go for it.
Okay. We're going to talk about homeschooling.
Because it's almost back to school time.
I can't believe it's that fast. Like, the summer has flown by.
I don't remember starting school in August when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's always been
Has
August.
it been?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was in like early September that we would start. Yeah, maybe we did start in August. I could swear we started in early September and we got out at the very end of May. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think it's always been end of August.
It's like the third week in August.
Yeah, that's end of August.
It's like
that's
August
that's
21st.
Over halfway point.
Barely over half of August.
But the cool thing about homeschooling, you don't have to start whenever the public schools start. You can start when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like starting early. So last year, we started about a week before public schools, and we finished up about 2 or 3 weeks before public school ended in May. We were done like a week after Gemma's birthday. So we were done 1st of May, and that was nice. I haven't decided this year if I want to start around public school time or after Jovi's birthday, like the second week of September. It's my thought.
Yeah.
Because we did have so much time. And I think a reason it took me a little longer last year with like the curriculum and like wrapping up what I needed is I was doing a lot of bouncing back and forth last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I like started one curriculum, switched like a third of the way in, and then I was like trying to skip through, and it kind of slowed it down.
Yeah, but that's the thing about being able to homeschool is now you're 3 years in, right? Or 2.5, or how do you want to?
3, let's see. So kindergarten first, and then we started preschool. Yeah. So, I mean, this will be the like full term third year.
Full third year
starting. Yeah. But we like started kindergarten when Jovi was still in preschool. And we went really slow with kindergarten. Mm-hmm. So we took like a full calendar year with kindergarten because we were still unsure at the time if we were going to homeschool. So she was at Shiloh, which is a private school, and they had a preschool or a preschool program. So she went 2 full days a week to Shiloh. And during that time is when our thoughts started coming that we were going to homeschool, which is funny because we sent her to Shiloh for a second year of preschool because she's a September baby. So if she was in public school, she'd be the oldest in the class. She was in her second year of preschool, and we sent her to that school so she could have a full day and get the experience of lunch and be prepared for kindergarten the next year. And that was actually a big part of where our decision homeschool came in. Do you remember like where that played factor? The full day of preschool?
Because she was just so exhausted.
Yeah, and starving. Like she would get out of preschool at 3 and
she'd just be so hungry.
And her lunch was
15 minutes.
Yeah, because she took a lunch because back then
she had bad dairy allergies.
Her dairy was much worse. So we had pack lunch every day. And every day I picked her up 2 days a week. She would get to the car and she'd say, "Can I eat my lunch?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course, eat the rest of it." And usually it was well over half left. She usually would only have time for a couple of bites, never could get a full thing. And that's for preschoolers.
That's brutal because she's also very easily distracted. So the 15 minutes that they're allotted for lunchtime, it's very conceivable that the first 10 minutes, she hasn't even opened her lunchbox yet because she's chit-chatting,
And the thing is, being a cold lunch student, she got to sit down first, even before the hot lunch students. That's what she always said. They were usually sitting down before hot lunch even made it to the table.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So she still didn't have time to eat.
So she'd be super hungry and then also just so tired. It just took a lot out of her. And
she loved it. Now, it wasn't that she didn't love it. She's such a social butterfly. She loved both the years that she went to preschool and making friends and all of that. She loved that. And she always excelled. She was doing great. But she was so dysregulated. The rest of the day was tough. Like, I didn't see her most of the day, so that sucked. But then when she got home, it wasn't even like good hours with her.
Quality time.
It was not quality. She was tired. She was more fussy.
We didn't want to go like do things because we knew she was already just so tired, and we're like, oh, we're going to exhaust her some more,
Yeah, and it was just harder on us for daily parenting. We had known a couple friends that had homeschooled, be like, "You should homeschool," and I'm like, "You'll never catch me doing that," until about halfway through that preschool year, I bought an Open and Go curriculum, the Good and Beautiful. And I just did like the language arts and no, do math too. I can't even remember. I think I did a little bit of both. And then I did some logics of English, but I probably did a little too much when you look back, because something that I think most homeschool moms will relate to is often never feeling like they're doing enough. So especially when I was just like, tossing the idea around, man, I was trying to do so much. I was trying to imitate a school setting, setting up like a little classroom area, coming to the table for your school time, naming our homeschool, just all kinds of things that now, as into my third year, I'm like, we don't need any of that. It's like there's no homeschool area in our house. And now for some people that definitely works, but for us, just keeping it really chill is what works. But we definitely did a whole lot more than we needed to be doing even back then. But we liked it. And the more it went on, the more we felt, okay, I think this is going to be it. And do you remember like some of the like big reasons that we wanted and chose homeschool? Like after we like started that, like whenever her first official kindergarten year would have started and we decided to not register her for school?
I mean, one, so that we can raise our children.
Yes.
We miss them, and it would be hard to be away from them I'm already away from them because I have to work, but it's just different, when your kid spends 10 hours a day at school in some facet or another or away from you, then you're really only raising your kids kind of half of the time. Otherwise, the school's kind of raising your kids for you. So we're fortunate enough to be able to homeschool, and we put a lot of value into that, of being able to see our kids grow constantly, be able to really be in tune with what they're struggling with, what they're excelling with.
And who they are.
Yeah, but just being able to really, truly know them, because their school personality and their home personality are one and the same. Whereas somebody who goes to school, it may differ, I guess.
Yeah.
You may have a different personality at school around your friends and teachers than you do when you come home, and your parents never even get to know who you are at school if you're different.
Just the hustle and bustle is another thing.
Yeah,
like
waking
the
up early, rushing, getting places on time. We like being punctual, but it's also nice to not have anywhere to be on time. It's much better to not have a time constraint if it's possible, and it is possible for us. So that was also a big one.
Yeah, and with that too, back then Jovi still was struggling with her sleep apnea. So she still kind of is a late sleeper. This summer, some reason though, she has been waking up early. She likes going to the gym and seeing some of her friends there. So we've been going to the gym at 8:30, which is still later than school, but would be. But usually in the school year, she would wake up like at 9 a.m. And I'm like, we just can't do that now.
Yeah,
but
you guys would usually gym at like 10?
10:30.
10:30?
Yeah. So I'm hoping we can keep that 8:30 gym time and just do school after the gym. But back then, you have to remember too, she was not getting good sleep. Even going to bed at 7, she was just, it was such a struggle in the morning. And the last thing I wanted to do was rush her to get out the door so she's not even with me to go do something else. And so that was a big part of it too. I just wanted, you've heard me say it before, like I love our slow mornings. Slow mornings are huge for me. It's very important to me to start the day with a good breakfast and not a rushed breakfast. I've never been a cereal mom. I've never been a donut mom. I'm like toast, eggs, yogurt, fruit kind of thing. So I take a lot of pride into a healthy start of the day with your meals. And that's just also hard to do. It's possible. It's doable.
It would take sacrifice from you.
Yeah. You just have to wake up earlier.
Yeah.
But again, I can just relax.
Right.
And I also love that not only do I get to provide them with a good breakfast, but they get to learn how to wake up and make their own breakfast and have, there's no rush in that. Like, I mean, our girls, a lot of days, they'll get up there and before I make it up the stairs, they'll wake me up and I'll come up to have my coffee. And usually I'll cook breakfast after coffee, but they'll already be eating breakfast. Like they've made breakfast. They're not cooking with the stove independently yet, but they're like making a bagel with cream cheese and getting their fruits out. And like they're doing that by themselves. So I love that they're doing that too. And then they also ask for help to do pancakes and eggs and all of that. And they do a good job. And so I love that. That's another part that we have is they can just learn something with that too. And it's not just a rushed situation.
Yeah.
And then we get to start our day off with gym. So that's great too. They get to get active. They go to Child Watch and they're active in there. They're playing in the play gym and they're going outside and to the track and different things like that. So we get to start their day off with some activity or a walk outside, just anything slow, but also movement. And that's a big part for me. Not wake up, rushed, be tired, quick breakfast, and then go sit in a desk. So I love that. That was a big factor in it too.
Yeah. I just believe like the curriculum side of things for a kindergarten to third grader is kind of just secondary to like just having a happy, healthy kid who's currently learning how to learn and just getting that base foundation of, okay, this is what learning looks like. You have to put in time. You got to grind these lessons. You got to put your work into it. But when you're a little kid like that, you can grind that out like in an hour.
Less than 15 minutes.
Yeah. Less than an hour.
Kindergarten, 15 minutes a day.
Yeah. That's it. And they're perfectly on track of where they're supposed to be or even ahead. And they didn't have to spend 8 hours at school
being told to sit down, stop talking.
Yeah. I mean,
dull their personality.
Yeah, right. And yeah, I just think, boy, if you're able to do that and still keep your sanity.
Well, we'll talk about some of that. I want to get to that because that's a big part too. So like, yes, you mentioned curriculum. So curriculum side, I juggle and I test different things every year. So some things I have learned with homeschooling and the curriculum side. One, it's not supposed to be like school. You have to de-school yourself if you were a public school parent like I was, and then now you're going to homeschool, you got to de-school yourself. It's not meant to go like that. Learning is fluid. They are always learning. Like I said, when they're cooking breakfast, they're learning. That is learning. They're measuring. They're checking the temperatures of things. They're learning.
They're reading instructions, doing math, using percentages,
everything.
And they have no idea that they're currently doing reading, math, life skills. They're learning to, prepare food.
And I'm saying like everyday conversations, those are learning.
Yeah.
I'm so blessed that I have the opportunity to like answer questions they have. Like they get to ask me questions and I get to answer them. Like that's just cool. That's cool to me. But when it comes to curriculum, when I first started, I was 100% like, I need the open and go. So we have used the Good and Beautiful. If you've heard of that one, if you're a homeschooler or if you're interested, if you're not a homeschooler, it's one so simple. You don't have to do any planning, anything. You literally open to the lesson. It says read to the child. And then I read that and it's me teaching. Like they have it set up like that. So that is very easy for beginning. Now, as we've moved on, we're moving into second grade, I am going to still use some of the Good and Beautiful, but we also use Me Academy. That is a online kind of curriculum. It's a good supplement. I love it for social studies. I love it for science. I even really like a lot of its math. It's not enough for language arts though, and English, but it has some good pieces that I definitely supplement in. So I'm still using the Good and Beautiful for language arts right now, but I'm going to heavily add back in Logics of English, which is big on grammar and phonics, because I don't really like the way that Good and Beautiful teaches the phonics as much as Logics of English. So I'm bringing Jovi back to that as well. But one thing I've learned is really important is you don't just have to like pick a curriculum and stick with it. And at first I was like so overwhelmed with how much there was. And I was like, how am I going to decide? How do I make the right choice? Well, like I said, last fall we started with one and switched mid-year and it was fine. Usually what I do is I look up what the standards for the public school are. What do they have to learn in that grade? I make sure we get all of those through the curriculums we use. We're good to go. And at this point last year, I was so nervous mid-year if she was on track. And then I look it up and we well beyond it. She had already halfway through the year learned everything and mastered everything that the public school would have taught her. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I can chill and I can slow down. Yep.
And now you can focus on passion related teaching. Yeah. Where it's like she's totally caught up, she's good. Yeah. She's surpassed where she needs to be. Now let's figure out what she loves and let's lean into that.
And let's focus on those areas where she's struggling rather than like just keep moving on. Like, oh, you're struggling with these phonograms. Well, let's work on those for a couple weeks. And so that's what's really nice about it. But yeah, with curriculum, one size does not fit all with that. Jovi and Gemma both learn so differently and they're such different students and you have to just adapt. Like the same curriculums probably won't work for Gemma that worked for Jovi, and that's okay. And this year my plan is just to literally pull from a couple that I'm familiar with. I'm going to try a couple unit studies with some new ones and then just keep learning and see what works and just keep it happy and fun. On that note, I do want to go into another part. So like curriculum wise, we thought, yes, homeschool is going to be good because you can tailor the education to each kid and you can do the same amount of work in half the time and spend more time just being a kid. And that's really important and just living into your passions and spending time. If you want to be a songwriter, okay, go write songs then. You have 4 hours. You can go write songs if you want throughout your day. It's not just like, I want to do my passions and I only have from 3 to 6. You have all day. We'll fit that in wherever you want it. That's huge. So another thing that with homeschooling that we really wanted to make sure for our kids is we didn't want them to learn to pass a test or to memorize. We wanted them to learn and remember it. Like, you know what I mean? Like not just memorize it, be done with the test and move on. But we want them to learn because they're interested in it. And that's what's really cool too is if they are interested in a topic in science or something, we can like dig a little deeper and they can, get that love. Last year, Jovi was all about the scientific method. She just loved it, wanted to apply it to everything. It was so cool.
I heard the phrase, my hypothesis is so many times, just on everything.
Yeah. And that's just really great. And I think about it because in school, there was a lot of times I loved school, but if there was something I didn't care about, I would be like, well, I'm just going to memorize this material and then I'm never going to think about it again. And with homeschooling, you can really try to not let them have that mentality because you can just teach it in a different way. Yeah. In a way that could excite them. And maybe they would spark some interest in it in that way.
Yeah, there's always a way that they will enjoy learning it and it won't feel so much like work. That's why I hated school so much because I just am not a lecture listener. I'm too distracted. I can't sit down and listen unless it's something that really engages me. Then I'm happy to sit down and listen to whatever they have to say. But there was almost nothing like that in school that really engaged me. I enjoyed some parts of science. There was some, but math, I mean, I was good at it, but it didn't spark anything in me, and I just feel like when you're at home here, you can just see if a kid's looking at you and they're looking straight through you because they are not engaged whatsoever. Like whatever you're saying to them, they just don't care. So you're able to kind of audible and okay, how can I get this through to them in a way that they're going to understand? And you have that freedom as the homeschool teacher. which I think is really important.
Yeah. And then another thing is you don't have to wait or just find out their strengths and their weaknesses quarterly. I find it out instantly.
Daily,
Instantly. Like, oh, you're struggling with regrouping addition. Okay, well, let's pause and let's get through this. It's not like, well, 3 months ago, they struggled with the regrouping addition, but I think we got through it. You see it in real time, and that's what's really nice. So those are a couple of our reasons for choosing to homeschool. There's, probably more, but I did want to say that we are in no way against public school or private school or any other school,
or anti-teacher.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Even last year, we considered sending Jovi halfway through the year, and part of that was because of me. I was unsure if I was doing a good job, not educationally.
Are we pushing her too hard? Are we just, she's too confused with when am I her teacher? When am I her parent? And yeah, so that was difficult, but we made it through it.
Yeah. And that's something too. I want to say, not every family should homeschool. They shouldn't. But
I think they could.
They could. No, I mean, it's 100%. If you're not willing to do the self-work, then no, you probably shouldn't homeschool. There was a time where I thought I probably shouldn't continue, but I'm doing the self-work. I can get, especially during the luteal phase, put it for that, when I'm more irritated. Well, I would get more irritated. I'd be more short. And if she was pushed back in, then I would be like, no, you just have to just sit down and let's just get it done. Can we just get this done? And then I look at myself and reflect and I'm like, that's everything I don't want. That's not who I want to be. I want to be the person that when they wake up, they're excited to do school with me because I'm fun. I'm not giving them a hard time. I'm not pushing them in a struggle way. And so there was times where I did that and I had all the mom guilt, all the, am I making the right decision? And if I continue that, or continued that, if I do continue that, if it does get worse and not better, then it's probably not in their best interest to continue homeschooling, But what I did last year is when I was struggling, because I do struggle with PMDD. And so during those 2 weeks, it is harder. So I adjust our curriculum where I know that we're not going to be working on the things that I know she struggles with or pushes back. And then we have a more lighthearted lessons. And then when I have more patience, we do the more struggling things. And that's kind of how I adapted to it. But no, I'm very self-aware. And if I get to a point where I feel like I'm not being a good example as a teacher for my kids, well, I won't continue.
Yeah.
Because it's not about me. We didn't choose this.
Because we want control.
Yeah. I chose this because I want the best for them. If I can't be the best mom and person for them and calm and, still disciplined, but in a healthy way, well, then that's not the best place for the school. I was struggling with, I don't want to wear all the hats. Last winter, I was struggling with that. I was like, I just want to be the mom. I want to be the person that is safe. And I am still. And I feel that way. And the kids have expressed that and they want to homeschool. We have that conversation openly. If you ever want to try public school, we're okay with that. But they both want to homeschool as of right now. And also I'm open with them about not being they're not responsible for me, I am responsible for me. But when I do get short or irritable, I also remind them if I don't walk away, tell me to walk away too before it ever gets to that. So
and they do.
Yeah.
And I'm good at that too. When I see that you're crashing out, I'm able to say, hey, you just got to go. You just got to go calm yourself down. Right.
Finishing these couple of finishing this sentence is not more important than our relationship.
Right.
And I think if you have that mindset and that mentality with your teaching your children, I think you're golden and you're good.
Yep.
I think if you ruin your relationship with your child to make them a great academic, I don't think that's the way to do it. And that's something that I have learned over the time. I've gotten better at it. And that's why I haven't sent them to school because, like I said, I have made those adjustments. I am self-aware. I sacrifice a lot for my kids. And that's what I'm always going to do because that is my job right now, especially while they're little. That's what I want to do for them. And as long as I can give them a mentally stable version of me and still be their teacher, well, I'm all in. If I ever feel like I can't be mentally stable, not that I'm unstable, but where it's just it's hard, guys. Homeschooling is hard.
It's really hard.
And if I ever feel like I'm lacking or there's a relationship ruin, then I'm out, because at the end of the day, I want them to look back and say, I'm so glad I homeschooled, not wish mom would have just sent me to school. It was too hard. It was not fun. That's not what I want.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think you're doing a great job.
Thanks. And then too, with that, we do plan on, I know we've mentioned before, like by the time they're in middle school and we got block classes, we're going to really encourage them to go try some of that. We might even go try some PE in the elementary school this year. Whenever I say, yeah, we might go do PE, Joey goes, what's PE? And I'm like, oh, the homeschool in you.
These little homeschool kids.
It's physical education, but they get a lot of that with us as athlete parents. But nonetheless.
But still, they don't get the opportunity to learn kickball and badminton and all the different fun little sports
and things. So yeah, I think that would be fun to go to the school for PE or for music or something, which not really music because she's in theater for Jovi at least. But we'll definitely utilize the public school.
Yeah. And a nice thing about sending them to some type of block class in middle school or whatever is just a little additional socialization that they'll get with other kids. But I say additional because homeschool kids nowadays are not missing
antisocial.
They're not missing out on any social interaction.
Yeah.
The homeschool groups are massive out there.
Yeah.
Our homeschool community is so big, and we've got friends that are close friends. They're not classmates. I think that's the difference between when you're in public school, you're sitting within 3 or 4 feet of your classmates, which you may consider to be your friends, but you're not spending any time together. You're simply just sitting next to each other during school.
Yeah. One thing I found interesting with that, like, I don't think I had this experience, but like Margot has mentioned, like, she doesn't even know everyone's name in her class. That's wild to me.
And she's only got a couple like friends that what I would consider to be friends that she spends time with outside of school.
Yeah.
And the homeschool community, they meet each other once, twice a week, and there's dozens of kids in there. And when you're together, you're not just at a homeschool meetup, you're all together. Like it's you're learning together, doing it through some activity of some kind. And it's not a classroom setting. We are part of the lesson together. You spend time together. It's just a different environment, and it's not antisocial. I feel like that used to be the trope. Me, a public school kid from a small town, the town had a couple homeschool kids that occasionally would filter into maybe our sports, or some way or another, we would have to interact with some of the homeschool kids. And inevitably, we always thought they were weird because they just didn't have the same, they just weren't like us.
Yeah. They were different. It's a different environment.
So it just felt like they were antisocial. And I think back in the 90s and early 2000s, speaking from no experience, maybe there was less socialization than there is now. I would imagine that there just would have to be, because nowadays there's technology and just the ability to bring people together is a greater than it used to be in the 90s.
Well, and homeschooling wasn't as popular back then.
Yeah.
And there was more regulations. Like you had to be a teacher or be certified in some way, whereas now you don't.
Yeah. So yeah, I think back then, at least for me, the trope was that the couple homeschool kids that I knew, like what I'm basing this off of is not a comprehensive study by any means. I'm only referring to a couple kids.
I didn't know any homeschooled kids.
Yeah, that were not socially the same as we were, because we were in pop culture and they were probably not in pop culture, probably heavily Christian, I would imagine, and sheltered from the pop culture world in a way. I would assume that's probably more prominent then than it is now, even though now it's still very, it is definitely a vast majority of the homeschool people are still heavily Christian.
Yeah, we consider ourselves secular with our homeschooling. That's something we didn't mention. But.
Yeah, trying to keep education just separate. A little different. Yeah. But yeah, nowadays it just isn't like that.
It's not.
I think
it can be.
I think if Margot goes to our homeschool things, she probably will identify that all those kids are not the same as her public school friends, just because the public school friends are all 6-7ing and skibbity toilet this, and the homeschool.
Some of the homeschool kids do it too.
Yes, I'm sure they do. Yeah. But I just think they're probably just not quite the same socially. Yeah. But that's not to say that it's because the homeschool kids are antisocial. They just have a slightly different upbringing, slightly different exposure, but it's not a lack of socialization. It's just a different type of socialization.
Yeah. Well, in every homeschool family is different. Like, again, they all do it differently.
Mhm.
We do it differently than other
Most.
ones. And that's also the beauty. It's like, it's a little bit of diversity, because even though we're all doing the same thing, we're all doing it in different ways. We all use different curriculums. Whereas like all the kids at the public school, they're all using the same. They're all learning the same. They all look at it the same way. They all have the same, insight. But yeah, socialization is that's always people, well, what about socialization? Like, my kid is plenty social. Both of them get plenty of socialization between sports. Like I said, daily, we're at the gym daily and they're with other kids. And then with our homeschool group is great. We meet every Thursday. It's always growing, all different ages, kids about fourth grade and down is what we have. And then there's another homeschool community we are involved in. Jovi wants to start a homeschool Pokemon club this fall. That'll be cool. Hopefully that goes through. I need to talk to some of the ladies about that. But that'll be really cool. And yeah, so there is no lack of socialization. In fact, I think there's more socialization because the kids are encouraged to discuss, to do things together, to work in groups, rather than be quiet. I mean, I don't know if that's how it is all the time at school, but I hear Margot say that she's told to be quiet a lot. So I like my kid, if she has something to chat about, I want her to be able to chat about it. There is all obviously a time and a place to be quiet and listen and learn, but it's not the majority.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything to this. I know we've talked about it before, not on the podcast, but like what could be a potential difference between homeschooling and at least like elementary public schooling in our area is that all the public schools are like sectioned off little parts of the city. Like if you live in
that's how they are everywhere.
It is how it is everywhere.
Yeah.
It kind of makes like a socioeconomic divide in the schools where, none of the houses in this area where this school is, or this school is in the middle of like what could be considered one of the lowest income parts of town.
And all of the kids in the school, their parents probably make about the same amount of money, and they're about the same level. Yeah. Right.
They come from a lower income, and conversely, there's also schools in new developments where all the houses are $500,000 and up. And, the little kids whose parents are well-to-do go to that school. I think that's interesting that in a public school, generally speaking, they're all going to be basically in the same economic class, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think that doesn't show like very much diversity, whereas in the homeschool community, like or is there? Because it obviously takes some money to be able to homeschool.
I don't know. I mean,
right? Because
you can homeschool for free. There's free programs out there, and then you can spend thousands. It really depends.
But have the ability to do it, for the parents to not have to go work and provide and spend their whole life just trying to.
Well, some homeschool parents both work full time. Some work part time.
And their kids
both
go
parents,
to daycare,
they probably have family village, or they work from home. There's just like me, I don't consider myself part time working. I work from home remotely when I can, is kind of how it is. I set my own hours, but I still bring a very small income in. Some people work from home half the day because especially when your kids are little, you don't need a lot of time to get your lessons done. It is an hour. If you have a kindergartner, if you have 3 kids, second grade and under, you're probably spending 2 hours like of actual sit down curriculum that you have to be there with them. Other learning is independent even. I mean, as a first grader, Jovi did so much independent work, and I had free time to do other things. And as they get older, that independent work just becomes bigger, and your sitting time with them is smaller. So you can still work. I know homeschool moms who work, and then their husbands work full time as well. Yeah, I think it depends on what the career is. They can still be in a higher economic group. If they're a doctor, they're making way more. That's
what I mean.
Yeah, and there could be someone who makes $30,000 and they live less means. It's just you live in the means. Does that make sense? Like they could be living in an apartment and not have a bunch of expenses and still have the single income, even though it's smaller.
Okay, so that being said, generally speaking, there is no socioeconomic denominator.
I don't think so.
I
mean, I feel like there's multiple classes within our homeschool group that I'm in.
Interesting. So that does further my point then, essentially. That,
there's not that divide there.
Yeah, the public, at least elementary, right? Well, the middle school, they're all the same, but there's like a lot of public elementary schools. slightly fewer public middle schools and then even fewer high schools because they all just combine. And then pretty soon, there's only like 4 high schools in town or
3 middle schools, 3 high schools here.
Is there?
Here.
Yeah. But there's
other than the private schools.
But there's like 20 little elementary schools, right?
Yeah, there's a lot. But there's the private schools too. Yeah. But no, and that's another thing with sports, the way sports are here, in regards to socialization, I thought about it. It's all done through Bismarck Parks and Recs, and you sign up as the parent. It's not through the school. Just next year in 3rd grade, Jovi will be joining the sports teams through Bismarck Parks and Recs, and she'll be playing with all of the kids in the neighborhood.
Go sports.
Go sports. But yeah, so that's easy peasy just to get that done and become involved. And currently, they're both involved through sports through the Y until they're old enough to be eligible for it in the public school system. And then, they'll be part of that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot into it and it's hard. It is very hard. It's very taxing. I've got a lot of grays over the past 3 years, but it's also the most rewarding thing I've ever done. Knowing that just 2 years ago, my daughter couldn't read and now she's just reading chapter books and that I taught her to do that. It's special. I helped her do that. And not even that it's not like I did that. It's like I was a part of that. I got to witness that.
Yep.
I got to witness her reading her first words and spelling her first words and watch it get better. I was a part of that. And that is what's special. Not that I did that, but I saw that.
Yeah.
I witnessed it and I was a part of it. And that's what's special.
Yeah, that is pretty special. You can't take that away.
Yeah.
It's like having somebody else teach your kid how to walk,
missing the first steps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a little bit like that.
I love, and that's something else I love. I love the aha moments when we've been working on something and it's getting taxing and grueling. And it's like, is she ever going to get this? What am I got to do to fix it? And then it's like all of a sudden you just read something in a different way. She's like, oh, this is so easy. I got this. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that is pretty great.
But those moments are just really great that, when they happen. But it's awesome. Yeah. And so, we love homeschooling, but we also, if public school is what works for you, that's great too. If private school works for you, that's great.
Nothing wrong with them.
Every family is going to do it different. I believe that every parent is going to do what they believe is best for their child and what they're able to do. Not everyone can homeschool. Like I said, I feel very fortunate that we can because everyone can't. Some parents do have to work full time in order to make ends meet, and luckily their kid gets to still have an education because of the public school system. So I think that's wonderful. Yep,
definitely. All right. Well, if you made it to this point in the podcast, thank you very much for listening. If you could please rate, review, subscribe, whatever.
Tell a friend.
Share.
Tell a friend to go check it out.
Yep.
On the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be really helpful.
Yeah.
But until next time, this has been
She Talks, He Nods.
Love you, bye.